the Go Gopher Podcast with Mike Grimm, episode number 115. I am Mike Grimm, voice of the Golden Gophers, and welcome back to the podcast. We're talking Gopher football today as the Gopher football team is well into spring practice. We welcome back to the podcast the reigning Big Ten kicker of the year, Dragan Kesich, as well as his good friend and punter, Mark Crawford, who is also a return guest. Crawford also serves as holder for Kesich on field goals and extra points. Crawford and Kesich were each on this podcast previously in separate appearances, so having them on together is great, and you'll enjoy it. Our Go Gopher podcast is presented by alumni-owned Sunbelt Business Advisors and True North Mergers and Acquisitions. If you're a business founder planning to exit your business, start by contacting Sunbelt Business Advisors and True North Mergers and Acquisitions. Sunbelt serves more businesses up to $5 million in revenue than anyone, and True North M&A serves companies with revenues up to $150 million. Get a confidential, no-cost, no-obligation business valuation started today. Make the most of your life's work. Visit sunbeltminnesota.com or tnma.com today. Affinity Plus Federal Credit Union is also a big sponsor of the Go Gopher podcast. Banking for Minnesotans. With you from Pee-wees to the pros, it's Affinity Plus. We thank them for their support of Gopher Athletics and the Go Gopher podcast, and also just great community stewards with their great work with Special Olympics Minnesota. We're podcasting episode 115 from the Aquarius Home Services studio. We invite you to subscribe to the Go Gopher podcast. It's free to subscribe. That means you can go back and listen at any time and listen to previous podcasts and previous episodes. Last week, for example, we talked Gopher hockey with forward Connor Kurth, who gave us great perspective on the Gopher hockey team. This week, we're talking Golden Gopher football with specialists Dragan Kesich and Mark Crawford. They'll join me next.
I'm Clay Geary, walk-on turned scholarship wide receiver for Gopher football.
And I'm Ben Utek, U of M alumni, Super Bowl champion, and Tony Dungy Uncommon Award winner.
We understand championship culture, which is why we're part of the True North family of companies.
True North invests in only elite teams, like the champion team at Sunbelt Business Advisors, Minnesota's largest seller of companies. To learn more about True North and our diverse family of independently owned companies, visit TrueNorthEquityPartners.com.
It's episode 115, the Go Gopher podcast, and we have return visitors, Dragan Kesich, Gopher kicker, Mark Crawford, Gopher punter. You've both been on before, but in separate interviews, not together, so we've got the little band together here. This is fun.
Yeah, it's an honor to be here. You know, it's always a great time on this podcast, so happy to be back.
Crawford, good to see you.
Yeah, great to be here. A little dynamic duo going on, or triple threat, if you include yourself. In this.
Well, I'm trying. I'll try to hang with the young fellas if I can. And
well, you'd be like 38, 39 years old.
That's exactly it. We just had a little game of guess the host age before we came on, and I'm happy to report that they both guessed me a little younger than I really am.
Yeah,
I think they were being nice.
You're welcome.
But, here we are, exactly. So we are in the middle of spring football, and there's no spring game this year, and that's fine. People can talk about that. So we won't. It is what it is. But because of that, maybe there's a little less info out there about how spring's going. And now we've got the kicker and the punter on. I don't know how much the kicker and the punter are going to know really the intricacies of it. But, Dragan, let me ask you, how is spring going? First for you, how's the leg feeling? And what does a kicker do throughout spring football?
Yeah, I mean, it's going great. Can't complain. It's good to be back on the field with the boys. Well, for us during spring ball, it's kind of the same as normal practices. We go out there roughly 40, 45 minutes before the team. We get our work in before the team gets out there. And then once it gets to those team periods and group periods and stuff like that, we're kind of doing our individual work on the side, getting ready for our special teams periods. And then we're also getting ready for play period at the end of practice to be ready for when our name's getting called. But like I said, it's good to be back out there with the boys, seeing the guys sling it, seeing the guys run routes, the D-line, O-line getting after it. So it's good energy and it's good fun.
Yeah, and how about for you, Mark?
Yeah, I'll echo that for sure. It's just good to be back have the helmet on, even though mine's it's got no spots or marks or bumps on it. But it's just good to be able to put the pads on and see the guys floating around. I mean, this is why we're here really, is to play football half the time. So it's just I just really enjoy it.
Yeah, and for you guys as well, you know, as you mentioned, Dragan, you know, offense, defense, they're getting after it with drills. I saw maybe it was the first
fully padded practice earlier in the week, it sounds like, and that's good. For you guys, it seems that, I mean, you guys obviously are specialists, you're skilled. So how much of what you do is just either fine-tuning or keeping this? I mean, if you have it, you have it, right? I mean, are you making a lot of strategic changes in technique or trying to improve that way?
I think in the slightest sense, yeah, because you obviously want to be more consistent. You want to be consistent, and with Coach Lig being here, he taught me a new way to watch film to better myself. So him and I be watching film to improve in a lot of different ways. So I think that helps, and just getting reps with Ryan Elgram, the new long snapper, getting reps with him, getting reps with Crawford, and it just to build the utmost success in the fall.
Yeah, I was wondering that. I had that on my list of things to ask about in terms of the new holder. The new center. With
I'm still here.
You're still here, thank goodness. But to get that all on the same page, that's probably not much unlike if you have a new quarterback with some new receivers, and you got to have the timing down. And here's where I'm going to be on this pass.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
And for you guys, here's where the snap's got to be. Here's where the hold is. The timing's down for your footing. But if you're the reigning Big Ten kicker of the year, you don't want to mess with too much, right?
Yeah, no, not at all. You just want to work on the small things that, like, you watch back the film from last year and the things that you did wrong or that I did wrong, and get better on those things so that they don't pop up again.
What do you get, a trophy or a plaque or what?
Yeah, I got some. It's a pretty cool trophy. Just says Big Ten Kicker of the Year on it. It's on my mini fridge in my room.
You got it on the mini fridge in your room.
I got to take it home before I break it.
That's awesome. Are you guys roommates still or no?
Yeah. The best part about that is that, so normally, if the door's open, you just walk in, say hi, whatever, and that's like a sacred area of the room now. It's like, whoa, don't go too far over there. Like, this is important.
Yeah, we can't break it.
Don't break it.
I don't know whether they offer replacements, you know what I mean? So, I mean, no one can take the title away from him, but that doesn't mean the trophy's going to go missing.
Was there a ceremony? Did you go to Indy for that, or did they just mail it to you?
Apparently, they just mailed it to me because I was talking to Emmett Carpenter, and he said he got to go to like some event or something.
Yeah.
So I asked them, and I didn't get anything, so I'm just guessing they don't do it anymore.
They must not do it.
Or I just didn't get the invite.
They did. I think they used to do something during the Big Ten Championship.
That's what he told me. That he got to go out there and they gave it to him at the Big Ten Championship.
Because my partner on the broadcast, Daryl Thompson, his name is on the Freshman of the Year award because he was a stud here.
Yeah, correct.
And Antoine Randall, does that name ring a bell for you young guys? So he was a great player for Indiana, played for the Steelers, and he was a quarterback. He had a great freshman year, historic. Daryl did, so it's like, I forget the total name, but if you're freshman of the year in the Big Ten, it's the Daryl Thompson Antoine Randall Award, and so Daryl used to help go present that
awesome.
well, so I think that's how it goes. All right, so we've got the kicker of the year over here. We got punter of the year coming up here in 2024.
Absolutely.
And you could have your own little trophy on have your own little trophy on your own little mini fridge. That'd be great. You were honorable mention All Big Ten, right?
Yeah, correct.
So you have obviously skill. You have recognition. People can cite what you're doing and how you're doing it. Dragan mentioned Bob Legashevsky. He's the new special teams coordinator. He was on this podcast just a few weeks after he was hired. I knew him. I worked in St. Louis when he was with the Rams, so we had to reconnect. And when you're a coach, you deal with all kinds of media guys, so it's hard to remember. But it was great. So
that's awesome.
We were able to share some common threads of St. Louis and the coaches there. And I remember then he was pretty fiery and pretty energetic, as all special teams coaches tend to be. So what's your impression of Coach Lig, Mark?
He's awesome. He certainly understands a level of the specialist psyche, because it's such a sort of high risk, high reward sort of part of the game. You have to keep it somewhat keep it on a personal level as well. You got to be able to have a bit of a laugh and have a bit of a joke, but then be able to lock straight back in when the time is right. So he certainly brought that element with him. I mean, I think that's just the character he is. But Dragan always talks about movies with him, and Derek LeCaptain, who's obviously a big part of the special teams unit for us. Those guys, they talk about movies. I'm sort of sitting there, I'm like, oh, okay, that's pretty cool.
He memorizes movie. He says movie quotes to us in the meeting rooms.
Yeah,
he's like, you guys know what movie that's from? We're like, Coach, no, we don't.
Coach,
we don't know.
No, it's just some
I wish I'd have
random
known
movie
that
from, like,
because
1990.
I irritate people by doing that all the time.
Yeah, he loves
Guardsy will
movies.
be like, Grimm, you're too old. That movie I wasn't even born
Well,
yet. You
I
know?
guarantee that if you had Coach Ligashevsky, Derek the captain, and yourself in this room, you probably wouldn't be talking much football. It's probably
we
all
could just
about
be
movies.
all random 1980s movie quotes.
Literally, it's, yeah.
That'd be fun for sure. In fact, when we did the podcast, we recorded in his office, and he had some on his laptop. He had some film up there. It was paused, but it was the film I saw. It was of another school. I saw the logo on the field, and I'm like, "Are you scouting already?" And he said, "No." He said he and the coach from this school, which I won't mention, he said, "We're friends, and we're just trading practice drills. Like it wasn't game plan. It wasn't on. It was like, here's how we handled this in practice. Here's some film of what we did last year." So I mean, you don't think about it like a fan. I don't either. Would think about what kind of work in the off season goes into it. He and another guy are trading practice plans for special teams, which is I think pretty cool. Have you guys noticed some changes in that stuff?
Yeah. There's certainly been a few little things like with the individual stuff that Dragan mentioned earlier. Like we definitely have had a little bit of variety to that, which has been interesting to say the least. I mean, it's there's no way that it's detrimental, that's for sure. So I mean, it keeps us more interactive. So it's always good, and the fundamentals are one of the most important parts of consistency and things like that in this room. So.
He's been a lot. He's been around the block.
It's amazing. I mean, I think I remember at the time it's like 18 years, 18 different stops. I think.
Yeah.
You know?
On a Super Bowl ring.
Yeah, one with the Steelers.
I got the feel. It's pretty dope.
Yeah.
But, he's been coaching for a long time, so he has a lot of drills. He has a lot of knowledge.
And
so he puts us to work.
And Coach Ligashevsky and Coach Fleck go back as well.
Yeah.
They were together with Tampa Bay.
Yeah, when he shows us clips of them coaching together, Coach Fleck had hair.
Remember, he had hair here for a year, and then Heather said, you got to.
Well, it could have just been in a little natural.
I think that's what led to it. Yes,
exacerbated
the natural hairline, which is where I've been for about 20 years, and I still try to grow it. So
respect.
So I got the hat on.
Yeah.
With you, Mark, a lot of what has with the punting strategy for the Gophers, especially in the past, it's been, hey, just hang that thing up high. We don't want any return yards. Probably your average might suffer from that a little bit, right? But that's the strategy. Without giving a lot away, do you think that will continue to be, or do you think they'll say, hey, dude, cut it loose, we'll just cover it?
Great question. I think that comes back down to a game of situations. I mean, there's been a lot of times where we've been in a situation where that was probably the necessary thing to have. So, I mean, there's it goes both ways. I think, forcing fair catches and sort of, or kicking it away from the returner, certainly is a bit of damage control as well. You don't want to lose someone or something on a punt return. Right. And I mean, it suits me. I'll do whatever they want me to do. I mean, I'm more than happy. I don't really care about the numbers. I don't really care about the stat sheet. I just want to make sure that the team's in the best position for what's required.
Right. And I mean, I think certainly that's why part of what you got some of the recognition was, the idea was, hey, if you can punt it 44 yards downfield and force a fair catch because you have it up high enough, which is what happened almost every time.
Yeah. I think we led or close to leading the Big Ten in fair catches on our punt team.
Exactly. So that's good. On the flip side to that, oftentimes 44 yards is not going to flip the field, right? And there's if you can flip the field once, maybe even once every 2 weeks, it can change your record.
Yeah.
So not that you guys didn't try that or whatever. I guess just me watching it, I'd like, let's let Croft flip the field once or twice.
Like a 70-yard punt.
See a ball. Bye. Yeah, and then go cover it. And if they return it, then you tip your cap.
Yeah, no doubt.
But they won't return it. No. So we have a good coverage team.
There's no doubt. I mean, you put a lot of work into it.
Yeah. Also, going along the lines of holder. He's the great punter and an elite holder. Let me tell you, that man can hold a football.
Holding's great fun. Yeah, especially for this guy. I mean, he trusts the process as well, which is a big part of what makes holding so much fun. Is that that if you get it down even if it's a little bit wonky or a little bit off, whatever, he's going to put it up and he's going to put it pretty straight.
You and I, Mark, have talked about the thud the ball makes, and there have been good kickers here, but I've not heard the foot connect with the ball with the kind of noise that Kesich has.
Because I have a fat foot. I have really wide feet.
I've always
He's got a couple of flippers down there.
Yeah, he does. They're big feet, but obviously that's due to some of the power that you generate. I've said it on the air before. It's the old analogy, like when you're at the Major League Baseball stadium and batting practice is going on, and I covered pro baseball for a long time, and you're not even paying attention to batting practice, and you're talking, all of a sudden you hear, like, oh, okay, who's in the cage? Oh, that's Pujols. He's in the cage. You can just tell. And so in a weird way, it's a little bit like you're in practice, and and it's Dragan's kid.
Yeah.
But it does, right? It just it pounds off his foot.
Yeah. There are certain, even when he mishits one, he's like, it could have been a little bit cleaner. I'm like, Dragan, you just made that one from 56, buddy. I'm pretty sure there was a pretty good strike, right?
But I mean, he makes it so easy for me. So it's fine.
So Brady Weeks, your whole time here, right? Had
legend.
been the long snapper and a great guy. We've I've talked to him some because he's from St. Louis as well. In fact, I think we figured out that I think my son would have potentially been classmates or close to classmates with him, because he lived in the area we lived in. But anyway, and his dad was FBI guy or something.
DEA agent, right?
Yeah, amazing. So
Mr. Kent Weeks.
We met him. Guardsy and I met him last year on one of the road trips. He came over and said hi and introduced himself. It was awesome. So now you've got that comfort blanket that the snap's there, bang, bang, bang. How's the new? Who is the new guy?
Ryan Elgrim.
Yeah, so he was like the top ranked long snapper in high school football or something.
Yeah, no, that's the kid coming in the fall. Yeah, he's coming, or summer, I mean.
Gotcha.
But Ryan, he had a year under Brady Weeks.
Okay.
That's
good.
That's a really good person to follow up.
And he's doing well.
Yeah.
So as I mentioned earlier, sometimes you got, and I'll ask you about it, the new quarterback, he's got to get on the same page. So are you guys in a similar situation doing some of that stuff right now, fine-tuning and getting on the same page?
Yeah, it was big in the winter where we're just getting reps, and now, Crawford and I are comfortable with each other. Now it's just getting Ryan in front of the team, getting him in front of Coach Fleck, in front of the guys, and making him perform. And he's done a really, really good job. Proud of the kid. He's had lessons from Brady Weeks, just like I had lessons from Matthew Trickett. So it's a blessing in disguise to have those guys ahead of you.
Yeah, and how many do you go through? Would you say in a practice? Just let's go through a.
Are you talking short snaps?
Yeah,
or punt as well.
Both,
He's the only snapper here, so he's doing.
Yeah, he's doing too.
Double time. He is. Yeah, but I would say shorts. I probably get at least 20 live reps.
I'd say over 100 a day. You think, is that a fair number?
He would snap more than 100 reps a day. Wow. Whether it's a live rep or not, like whether warming up to, we do some stuff where it's during individual time where it's not a full length punt snap, and it's not necessarily it has to be the most bulletproof short snap, but it's still a short snap. He's still snapping the ball. So
because he's got to snap to me when I kick field goals, Kemp to when he kicks field goals, you to when you punt, and Caleb to when you punt,
and then Indy.
So he's working.
He's working hard.
Yeah.
He's got a great work ethic for that sort of stuff as well. He's been pretty good.
And obviously working hard can turn into he's good at it.
Correct.
Yeah. So he's got some skill there. What? So from those standpoints, and you have a new guy come in as well, as you mentioned. So then you just kind of work through a similar thing, and everyone, no matter who's playing, then gets on the same page.
Yeah, correct. So when Allen comes in the summer, we'll get him squared away.
Yep.
Get him straight into it so we can get comfortable with him, because I think at that position it's an open competition. So whoever, let the best man win.
Yeah.
And I'll feel good with whoever it is.
How nervous, or do you not think about it in a game, are you when the snap's there, knowing that the only time anyone's going to even mention you is two things. One, if you bobble it and it's missed. Or two, if everyone thinks you're the kicker in a game-winning celebration and they come and celebrate with you, which happened. Which is awesome. We'll talk about that in a second. So, we talk about you when you punt all the time, but as a holder, you don't ever want to be noticed, right?
Yeah. No
so is it nerve-wracking, or have you done it enough that you just feel?
Yeah. Well, I'm happy to jump to the game winner against Nebraska right now, because I actually didn't recall the fact that there was apparently a streaker on the field.
Yeah, that's what I saw.
Yeah, before that.
Before the kick.
Yeah, I don't recall that at all. I remember there being some sort of delay, so I thought there's a
I think
timeout
it
or
was a
something.
Cornhusker fan.
Yeah.
Must have been,
Yeah.
yeah.
It was because they were wearing a Nebraska shirt.
Yeah, thankfully fully closed, so not technically a streaker.
Yeah,
Sure,
we don't need a naked
Yeah, come on.
Nebraska
Yeah,
fan.
we don't need that.
Yeah.
So you didn't even.
No, but it is a moment that I remember very distinctly in when we went back to the spot getting ready to complete the operation. All I was thinking about was we've done this so many times. This is no different to any other situation. I can't say the same for Dragan. I'm not sure what he was thinking at that time. First game, first field goal.
I can tell you what he told me on the podcast the week or two after was that he was more nervous on the extra point.
Correct.
Yeah,
to tie
it
it.
makes sense. Yeah, no doubt.
And on the field goal, he felt, well, one, you're tied, so even if you shank it,
Yeah.
you got overtime, so you're not dead. You miss that extra point, you're dead.
And it almost missed.
Yeah,
I got hit pretty hard on that one, but it went in. So
yeah. But the kick, you felt good and you nailed it.
Yeah, I felt. I mean, he got the ball, spun the ball, did whatever he did. I saw the ball there, and
Then he Tiger Woods did.
yeah.
Which was great.
The way he walks the other way.
So let's get to that. So you're feeling great about your situation. You've done it a million times in practice. I mean, in essence, if you're the snapper, the holder, the kicker, I mean, every one of those reps, those 100 a day, is so that if the game's on the line, you produce, right?
Yeah, well, we actually go back to last winter. We did it a lot this winter as well, but last winter, I'm almost certain that we did minimum 50 holds a day.
Yeah.
To get ready for, that was just to get ready for spring ball and then going into the season. But we would get to the point where we were, it would be a day where we didn't touch the football. So it was like 10 o'clock and he's like, hey, we got to get the holds in. So we'd be in the hallway in the apartment, just get 50 holds in. Yeah. Wow. And it's funny how it all sort of, catches up to you when it catches up to you, I suppose. And that was one of those moments where the hard work paid off. And it was, it was pretty intense elite moment. So
Weeks gets you the snaps down, kicks off. The kicker, Tiger Woods, it kind of moves off to the side. You're just kind of standing there with your arms up. And everyone comes to you.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah,
Watch him jump. It's so funny. Watch the video.
I was right spot, right time. And I remember it was so visceral that I didn't know how to react.
Yeah.
So I think there's a moment where I'm jumping and I'm trying to take my helmet off. And I realize everyone's running to me. So I'm just sort of standing there. I get picked up and they put me down. I'm like, where is Kesich?
I asked Bo about it. And he was like, we thought, you're not paying that. You're just in the moment.
Correct.
And I think he might have been the first guy to you to kind of lift you up thinking, it's like, oh, well, this isn't Dragan, but that's all right. Well, you were part of it too.
Yeah, exactly. People were like, oh, are you mad? I was like, no, because if he didn't get the hold down, then I don't even get the opportunity to kick it.
Man, that was a fun night.
I think we're both,
unbelievable.
I think we're both 6'4", both around 230, 235.
And 99 and 96, right?
It's basically the same.
Basically. One has a blue arrow on his head, the other one had...
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, but no, I remember because then Quinn Carroll attempted to pick me up, and it just didn't work. And then I was like, all right, whatever, here we go. And then it was unreal.
It was
surreal.
Great. It was really fun. It was a good night for sure. Real quick, I got to talk about one of our sponsors here. Affinity Plus is your local credit union, proudly serving Minnesota since 1930. If you're a current Gopher student or a proud Gopher alum, you're eligible to join this financial that wants to build a meaningful banking relationship and put you first. You can meet with a local employee at any of their branches statewide, including right off campus in Minneapolis. To learn more and find other ways to connect, visit affinityplus.org/Go Gophers. They have an award-winning mobile app. Affinity Plus Federal Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA, proud sponsor of Gopher Athletics. They sponsor our podcast and they support student athletes, so we appreciate them all the way through.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's great to have you guys on. All right, a couple of other things we want to talk about. The new quarterback, you guys, obviously you're not running patterns or what have you, but you're getting a sneak peek that a lot of us aren't.
Yeah.
So without getting in trouble from the head coach or G, who you don't want any info out, or what can you tell us about the new quarterback?
Let me tell you, he's a great player and an even better person. When he came in January, in the short time he was here, he completely flipped the offense. He took that quarterback role and he inserted himself right into it. He got the team around him, having player meetings with the guys and stuff like that. He's a great leader. He's one of our better leaders on the team. He's someone that's helping not only our team get better, but he's helping like individual guys get better by staying after practice and like throwing with them and stuff like that. So I think his work ethic, his attention to detail, all that sort of stuff is at an elite level.
Yeah. What do you see?
Yeah. Well, considering I didn't grow up with football, I couldn't give you much information anyway regarding
I mean, instinctively, you're still learning the game, right?
But in terms of, as Dragan mentioned, like caliber of human, he's in the top echelon of that. He is a one-of-a-kind sort of leader. He certainly, has united the room on a level where he just gets guys involved, which is what any quarterback does anyway, I suppose. But in things like player on practice, there's new things that I haven't seen before. We haven't seen before when we're watching that, and that's been interesting. Just knowing that he definitely brought that in.
Yeah,
it's not something that was, just learned along the way. He's done that from his time at his previous school or growing up, and we were like, oh yeah, that's something new. I like that.
And it's a guy who's been around the block, so he's been through it, right?
Correct.
So hey, here's what we have to do.
Yes,
here's how it happens.
He knows what he's doing. It's cool. Like for spring break, he brought some of the boys with him back to his house.
Well, he's in Georgia, I think.
Yeah.
So that's like just shows you how like
for sure
that's a leader.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, it'll be fun. You watch this team, you see, again, while you're practicing the snaps and the kicks and the punts and everything, you're still keeping an eye on it.
Correct.
How good can you guys be, do you think? What are your hopes here at this point?
I think we have a chance to be really good, and we know we have a lot of guys returning from last year, and the guys who moved on, like we're gonna fill their roles with guys who want to be better than them, because they set the standard.
Their turn, right? That's how it works.
They set the standard. Now we got to raise the standard. So I truly believe we can have a really good year, and that's up to us to decide. So we can't beat ourselves, and it's going to be interesting. It's going to be fun because we have a tough schedule.
Yeah,
so
I have that written down. New Big Ten teams, USC here, which will be great.
Correct.
Awesome. UCLA at the Rose Bowl, which will be that'll be fun to be out there. What do you think, Mark, in terms of where this team can head in the fall with a tough schedule and as Dragan said, returning players with some experience, a new quarterback, all that stuff?
Yeah, there's certainly no roof to it. It's one of those things where that's the beauty of sport as well, is that you sort of every team will be saying, oh yeah, we're going to be really good, and then it's really only your experience and the amount of times you've seen it happen where you know whether things can be different or whether they're going to be better or worse, whatever. And their gut instinct is that, by the time fall swings around, it's looking pretty clean. But that's the beauty of it. You never really know.
Yeah.
And with a tough schedule, it's why you play as well. You don't just want 13 or 12, 13, 14, 15 easy games. You want to be able to play and perform against the cream of the crop, and I think this is what this year offers.
I think, too, it's the margin of error for everyone, right, in the Big Ten is a play or two sometimes. I mean, last year it's probably 3 or 4 different plays and the records flipped in it, and there's maybe a different feeling about last year, which still turned into a year where you end up getting into a bowl game. You got a bowl game win again, all that stuff.
A 2-point conversion that was taken away from us.
Yeah,
ridiculous.
I've got that. I've got that written down here to ask Dragan about that, which I'm going to here in a little bit. Which I love that
he was in.
So I thought he was too, but let's put that on the back burner for a second.
We'll come back to
But the little things matter so much, right? And sometimes it isn't even anyone's doing. Sometimes you just get a horrible bounce or a stupid call or a whatever. And so it is weird, the life of a season. I mean, you think about last year after the Michigan State game.
Yeah.
I mean, we're feeling like, holy cow, this is a team that can, advance all the way to Indy, and who knows? Think you're in first place in the Big Ten, and then just weird little things. Maybe a game that the group didn't play great in.
Yeah.
But one bounce, you still might win that game. Good teams win games they don't play particularly great in.
Exactly.
And all of a sudden you're late November, like, how did this? Here we are. And maybe in a lost opportunity there.
Yeah, it was. I always think back to the Northwestern game. That game just eats me alive.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was a tough situation because I feel like if we would have won that, that would have flip the season.
Yeah.
But I guess hindsight's 20/20.
Even
so we
after
don't really
that
know.
game, though, you beat the Hawkeyes on 4
Correct.
Kesich field goals, and then you came back and beat Michigan State, I think, the next week. Or do I have that flipped? Either way, I think you beat Michigan State the next week.
We had Iowa after the bye, so it would be Michigan State after that.
Yeah, and so you're still in a, but if you throw the Northwestern win on top of that, now you've got even some cushion.
Correct.
And then you've got an Illinois game that the final drive pretty much cost us that one. And
I mean, you're up 8 with whatever it was. You know, they had a 4th and 11 at their own whatever. So there's just some weird plays here and there, and sometimes that life of the season then just.
It's a crazy roller coaster.
It's a crazy roller coaster, and sometimes it just it's hard to summon the energy after I thought that Illinois loss drained. I thought it was evident, and PJ and I have talked about it. He disagrees with me vehemently, and it's fine. I mean, he knows way more about it than me. I thought that that game really was an exhausting loss, and that I thought it was apparent the next week at Purdue that it's nothing against anybody, but sometimes you just can't summon what you need following something like that. You know, and it just happened because there's no way you guys are 48-14 to those guys.
Correct.
Right? But it happens.
Yeah. It was, like I said, roller coaster season. It was.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a great learning curve to be a part of, to learn from it, and then we'll change our best this year. So
exactly. And if all of a sudden 2 or 3 of those plays flip the good side, you might be sitting at 10-2.
Exactly.
You know, whatever, however it works.
I always tried to put into perspective as well that we had a few games. What's that?
You what? You
put it into perspective.
You tried?
I did put it into perspective.
Yeah, okay.
That's like games like Nebraska, games like Iowa. You know, they could have gone both ways as well. I mean, we were on the right side of the coin for that one. So I think, you know, there's obviously a few games that stand out, being Northwestern and Illinois. But ultimately speaking, I think the group of lads that we had during that time that have come back, we can take that and understand that the smallest things at this time of year can make a difference into the fall. Yeah,
it just reminded me when you said the closeness of that Iowa game. We mentioned the Kesich 4 field goals. You mentioned you guys led the conference in forced fair catches. You also led the conference in forced invalid fair catches.
Exactly, yeah.
Which is nice, you know?
Yeah.
You want that, right? Yeah. I mean, that's good, too, when you can get that accomplished. But, all right, so I do have it written down. I have fake PAT last year under Dragan's name here on my sheet of, just kind of the outline of where we wanted to go. So you had been twice on this podcast, and a couple times in interviews, you've been telling me you wanted to lobby for you to either throw a pass, fake a field goal, do whatever. And PJ, if he's shown anything in the past, the bowl games, that's a time to have some fun. Yeah. We had a foul Lele, what was that, a touchdown? Yep. Yeah, a touchdown.
2020 Arizona.
Yeah, down in Arizona. We had...
we also had a 2-point conversion in that game as well.
Yeah, the holder...
A fake PAT.
Annexted came in for you to run it in. Yeah. And the previous year, there were some shenanigans too. I can't remember now exactly what they were against West Virginia. No, that was West Virginia.
West Virginia was Arizona. Yeah.
But then
New York.
In New York, was there anything in New York?
I don't think we did.
I think there was a few things up the sleeve, but the situation didn't present themselves.
Where John Michael Schmitz got run over by Lele and then had to propose to his fiancée with a walking boot, which was great. Awesome. All right, so you get the play call.
Yeah.
So what walk me through what the options were on this extra point.
Okay, I'm not going to lie to you. When I ran out there, I've never been so nervous in my life.
Is that right?
I ran out there, I'm like, oh my goodness, we're actually doing it.
How many times did you practice it during prep?
Oh, so many. like so many. And I was like, oh my goodness, we're actually doing it.
I think we ran that play more
than we kicked
than I had live punt in that month.
For that month,
yeah. So I'm running out there, and I'm like, oh my goodness, we're doing it. So Croft goes down.
This is after the first touchdown of the day, right?
First touchdown. Mm-hmm. And I get out there, and I'm standing shotgun. I'm like heart's pounding. I'm like, oh my goodness. I clap, I get the ball. Like, I just want to get the ball.
I forget, was it a direct snap to you?
Yeah. So we shifted, and then Nick Callerup became the snapper.
Yep.
And then Callerup snapped it to me, and I'm like, just catch the ball. So I catch it, I'm rolling out to my left, and I'm supposed to throw it to Nick. But then
he snaps it and then goes into the pattern.
Yeah. And Nick, he's covered. I'm like, oh my goodness, what do I do? I'm not throwing an interception. So I keep running with him, and I'm like about to throw it. I pump fake it, hoping the guy would like bite on it, and he doesn't. I'm like, oh goodness, I'm lost here. Because the last time I played running back was like 6th grade, 7th grade, 22 touchdowns, by the way. So I'm like, all right, we got to make a play here. So everybody's like, oh, why didn't you go low? Because the guy with his stomach was on the ground. There's no way I'm going to go low. So now I'm like, okay, I'm just going to jump. Whatever happens, happens. I jump, and then I land on his ankle.
And then you lose your balance.
And then I lose my balance, and I land right on my butt. My whole back hurt, my spine compressed. But I reached the ball. I think I was in.
I agree.
Definitely broke the line.
I'm talking to Coach Fleck after it, and then they're like, oh, it's going to go into review. And he's like, did you have it? I'm like, yeah, I think I had it.
I think so, too. I think because we talked about it. We watched it on the radio. I mean, when we're doing the game on the radio, we're watching the replay in the booth, and I said, here's what I said. I said, I think it's good.
Yeah.
But I think they're going to say they're going to stick with the call in the field because it wasn't so obvious.
Correct. Yeah. Exactly.
And they didn't have an exact down the goal line. But I agree because when you weren't down until your bottom hit.
Yeah.
And by that point, you had reached the ball.
Exactly.
And the thing that people forget is they think it has to get the ball, point of the ball or whatever, has to get into the end zone. Yes. Well, the end zone starts at the very front white
line.
Correct.
Stretch of paint.
Yeah.
And I think you had it.
I truly believe I will die for that saying that I was in.
Yeah. I agree. I think you were in, but I think they were like, we're not going to overturn it. It just wasn't so obvious that we can overturn it.
If we would have lost by one, I would have felt so bad.
that was
oh my goodness.
I remember it was all a bit of a blur to me after that because I haven't really been involved in plays that weren't a punt or a field goal.
Yeah.
Actually, that was the first one where I wasn't involved in that.
Yeah.
So I remember walking off and I got to the sideline and look up and it's 7-6. I was like, huh. Better not lose by one.
So, oh my goodness, that was. I loved it. I think that's what kind of bowl games are for.
Yeah.
And I actually think that it'd be fun to try to pull an ambush like that in a regular season game and steal a point somewhere.
I would love that. That'd be so fun.
But now PJ has that on film. He might say we're not going to run that play ever again. Even though I would like it. Or maybe there's another variation. Well, you've openly bragged about your arm strength here on this podcast many times.
I'd say it's up there. Drake Lindsay, the freshman quarterback, and I had a nice little competition yesterday.
How'd that go?
You would have taken the cake for sure.
No, he beat me. Because it wasn't like
he's a quarterback, so
it wasn't distance or anything. It was like who can throw the tightest spiral. That's the 5, and he beat me 3-2.
Wow, who's the judge? You guys just kind of
wide receiver, Christian Driver.
Gotcha.
So I think there's a little bias with that quarterback wide receiver duo.
For sure. That's Donald Driver's kid.
Yeah.
How's he looking?
Elite.
Yeah. And how's Lindsay looking?
Oh,
he can throw.
Yeah, and he's got a good. Would he be the protege or he'd be Max's protege? Right? Is that the saying?
Yeah.
Because he's learning a lot from Max.
So he'll take him under the wing.
And he's been taking him under the wing.
That's great. That's good. Yeah. That's awesome. So I had to ask you about that. I also have written here initials game.
I was going to tell you, I saw your hat, and then you brought up the fist bump.
Yeah.
And I was like, because when I got a swim cap right, I hit it. I hit it with the fist bump.
So Dragan was on the I am wearing the Power Trip Morning Show hat here today to cover up my receding hairline. And
couldn't tell that you're going, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. See, that's why you wear the hat. I've got the hat. It's not why I wore it. It goes well with my outfit.
It looks good.
So, but I did have written down here. You played the initials 6 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago, a month ago, somewhere in there. I can't remember.
Yeah. So I think
and for those that don't, maybe they're listening from a long ways away. Most people know that's the Power Trip. It's the morning show on our flagship KFAN, and every Friday, Corey Cove, who is one of the hosts on the show, puts together this. It's a fun game.
That's awesome.
I don't oftentimes get to listen live, but I'll always I've got it on my phone. It's an app, Initials Game app on iHeart, so I'll listen either over the weekend or whatever. And so I got to listen. SC. So the second time I've played, I think 4 or 5 times. Second time I ever played was SC.
Okay.
I got 2.
Damn it.
First time I played, I didn't get any of those.
Let's go. Yes,
TA was my I can remember. It had to be 2017, 18. TA, and I didn't get one.
Yeah, they told me that just get one. First time players never get one.
No, and I had people just killing me. Like, did you even talk during that?
Yeah.
I'm like, no. So then I realized, I should at least show some personality if I'm not getting anything.
Correct.
And anyway, but I did get 2 on SC, but didn't win the game. And then I did win I do have a victory.
You have a victory?
I have a victory.
Wow.
And then
That's
I got in, which
awesome.
helped get me in the Tournament of Champions, and then I lost in the first round, but they had 5 guys who were playing in that.
Oh.
But anyway, it's a fun show.
Yeah.
So were you nervous?
No, I was so pumped because so Paul Rovnak, shout out Paul, he gave me like the kind of rundown on what the initials game is. So I was like watching them and stuff like that. And then it's cool, by the way, because they have somebody call in, and if you guess the initials, you get like 60 grand.
Yeah,
or whatever
it's
it is.
crazy.
So the guy called in. He's like, I forgot what he said. I think he said like MM or something like that. It wasn't it. And then I was like, okay, here we go. And then the first one, I kind of like let the first one go by. I'm like, dude, I have no idea. Like if all of them are like, it was like spinal cord.
Yeah.
I was like, if all of them are like this, I have no chance. So then somehow I got swim cap. And then another one, SC, first hint.
Yeah.
Has a pointed bottom, right? Horn in, me, go. Dragan,
Snow
go.
cone?
Snow cone.
Great
Wrong.
guess.
Come on. It's sugar cone. Corey, what's a sugar cone? Should be snow cone.
Man.
I felt so good about it. And then him and I went to do some reading thing.
Yeah.
And these guys come up to me, they're like, snow cone was a great guess.
It was. You had another early guess that was great, too, didn't you? I think if I walked. Because I thought both were right on, and sometimes that happens.
Yeah, I forgot what it was. But then they missed Steph Curry in the tiebreaker. It was like
Yes.
It was like dad played in the same profession.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wears a Golden Gate Bridge on his jersey.
So if you had gotten to the tiebreaker, you
Oh
slam
my
dunked that
yes.
thing. Yes.
Where's number 30? But I'm not gonna lie.
It was something to do with a bridge, too.
Yeah,
because
where's a bridge on his jersey?
Yeah.
Greatest shooter of all time, right?
Yeah.
And I wasn't thinking, bro. I said Seth Curry.
Oh, did you say Seth?
I said Seth Curry.
Yeah,
He's like, yeah, you're right, Steph.
Yeah.
Steph. I was like,
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Yeah, all right. Yeah.
That was fun. That was a
great- it was an elite time.
It
It was
was
so
a good
fun.
time for sure. Did you listen or watch later? Mark?
No, you did not.
I didn't. Did I listen live? No.
No.
But rest assured that Dragan showed me the highlights of it.
I'm
because
sure
it's
he
still
did.
out there.
Yeah, I'm
and
sure
it was,
he did.
it
Yeah,
was pretty
people
classic.
want to watch or listen. They can find it. It's
Yeah,
out there.
hitting the smelling salts before I think really woke me up, so it was good.
The times I've played, they've not had those. Is those things?
Maybe they just don't like you.
Which is true, but do they? Does that perk you up?
Oh yeah, we were all ready to go.
Yeah, ready to
Well,
go. What is in the smell? Do you guys have those on the sideline too, or no?
I have no idea. I don't hit them before the side, but I don't know what's in them. But there's like some I see a bunch of videos like people hitting smelling salts for the first time and they lose it.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's in them.
ammonia
Like
or
ammonia or
something.
something.
Yeah.
Is it? It'll wake you up. It'll wake you up.
It's one of the all-time pranks. So there's a few in the weight room. One of the all-time pranks is to get some of the young guys to say like, "Hey, just smell this. This is pretty strong. Get you fired up." And they put it right up to their nose and they give it a big
boom.
The best was we had a really strong one. It was like
Eyes
a double,
watering.
it was like a double barrel.
Double barrel, yeah.
And one of he was a strength GA at the time. He puts it up to Crawford's nose. He's like, "Croft, smell it." So Croft like,
I knew what it was.
yeah, and he goes, and then the guy pushes it. So all of it goes right in the crying. His nose is watering. It was so funny.
Dang,
So funny.
tough crowd there. Holy cow.
So there's some tough ones out there. It was so funny.
Man.
All part of the experience, though. And
Yeah.
I have a couple more things listed. If you guys can hang for a little longer,
Oh, yeah,
here,
absolutely.
on the Go Gopher podcast. I'm going to go to Mark's list here. We've talked about this before. I don't know if you've talked a lot in public about it, but your parents made this great 6-week or so trip last year during the season, right?
Yeah. That I don't think it was 6 weeks, but they did come out. They saw the first 3 games.
Yeah.
So they saw Nebraska, first punt of the year, first punt they ever saw me punt live, down to the 1.
Yeah.
Game-winning field goal, which I'm a part of.
Yeah.
And got the credit for,
Yeah,
apparently.
exactly.
To Eastern Michigan, didn't punt.
That's right.
Didn't punt
no
once.
punts.
Just. Well, that was boring. Not every game's going to be a game winner, right? And then
Your parents, the only 2 Gopher fans cheering for us to punt.
Yeah,
Right?
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, respect. Yeah. Respectfully speaking, yeah,
Yes.
of course. But and then North Carolina, so they saw a game away from home, which was a great experience for them, and getting down to a different area that they've never been to before was pretty cool. And they plan to do something similar this season, but at the back end of the season.
Gotcha.
So they love New York, so they're going to go to
Yeah,
Rutgers.
so while they were here, in addition to the games, they also did some.
Just New York.
They had never been to Perth, right? Perth,
Correct,
Australia,
yeah.
but they had never been to America before.
I'm not sure about Dad, but I know Mum had only been in New York.
Gotcha.
So they went back to New York again. They love New York. It's just the place that they want to go. And then they also checked out Toronto by Niagara Falls there. So, this year they want to see New York again.
Yeah.
Standard. But we play Rutgers, so the timing's pretty good. They're going to be there for, I think it's the beginning of November, roughly, and then we have a week off, and then we play the last two games of the season.
Yeah.
Niagara Falls in Toronto?
It's close. I don't know how close. I mean, they always say the Canadian side's the better side to view Niagara Falls from because it's right on the border.
The geography's not my
I wasn't that familiar with it. I actually
Maybe I'm the wrong one. Yeah,
I mean, Toronto, I think's in the neighborhood. It's not right
either
at
way,
Niagara Falls. but
worst case, I think they
went to Niagara.
Look, I don't know. Maybe they just went to Niagara Falls.
No, it's within an hour.
Yeah.
I mean, Buffalo's like 30 minutes south of
I knew
Niagara
they were in
Falls.
Canada.
And then Toronto's maybe an hour or so north.
Where from the U.S. can you see Niagara Falls?
North of Buffalo.
North of Buffalo.
Yeah. Yeah. So 2 years ago, I went out to Buffalo for a concert, and I had never seen Niagara Falls.
Yeah.
But I had heard it's fine from people. But I'm like, well, you're in Buffalo. It's 30 minutes away. Let's, we got to go.
Yeah.
So it was me, my son, a buddy, and his son. We did a father-son trip to this concert.
Epic.
It was at the Bills Stadium.
Yeah.
And so we saw Motley Crue and Def Leppard. It was great.
Wow.
So
That's a ton.
We pile in the rental car, and we're like, we're going to do it. We're going to just go see Niagara Falls. It was so much better than I thought it'd be.
Really?
I loved it. It was great. And then we bought tickets to get on this boat. And they take you right. I mean, you don't go under the falls, but they take you right in, and it's like its own weather system. It's like a tornado in there.
Wow.
You're wearing these rain ponchos and stuff. It was great.
Yeah.
So I don't know if your parents were able to see that.
I can't see my mum on a speedboat.
Yeah.
At the bottom of Niagara Falls.
And it wasn't a speedboat. This was a big freaking ship.
Yeah.
That everyone it was like a ferry that everyone just stood on and let this wind and the power was it was so much better than I thought.
When you went, could you believe that somebody tightroped across the top?
No.
Yeah.
No. Or went over it. Some people get in a barrel and they go over it.
What?
Yeah, there's like 50.
It's like the old joke.
Yeah, somebody actually. Some people
Did they survive?
I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, I'm sure somebody's croaked because of that. Over the edge they go, and that's the end.
That's curtains. But
I could never do that, dude. No.
So they went to Toronto. We think they went to Niagara Falls.
Yeah, they went somewhere in Canada.
And now they're coming back.
Yeah.
They're not going to go to the Rose Bowl game though. They could see California with that.
I mean, I think it would just be a long time that they'd be out here at that point.
That's October. Middle of October. That game,
Isn't the shortest flight to LA though from Perth?
Correct. I mean, it's not direct, but they would, But I think they will just go Rutgers, hang around there for the bye week, Penn State here for senior day, and then I said you got to go to Camp Randall.
Yeah. Is that the last game?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Thanksgiving weekend, etc. So.
Well, that's a heck of a good trip.
Yeah. They
just
make
got
the
to
most
bring their
of it.
warm clothes.
Yeah. Mum might be watching or saying, it's 40 degrees, Mark. I think that's 40 degrees is pretty good.
That would be, I think if we were offered 40, we'd take 40 degrees for that last weekend for sure.
Yeah. Fahrenheit for anyone.
We got to get that
in Australia listening to it.
Oh yeah, we do.
Yeah.
The case looks. I don't like it empty.
It's nice to see the pig there.
Oh, I look at it every day.
But I just took a picture the other day.
We've had a few public outings with the pig.
Oh, it's so awesome.
It's been pretty fun.
And it's cool how a lot of people know who it is, and then there's some people who don't know. We're holding it. Why are you holding a pig?
A statue.
Yeah. I don't know.
And there's other people that are like, can I get a photo with the pig?
Yeah. We own a pig.
Why does everyone want a photo with the pig?
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome. We got to keep that too. So let's get them both. All right. Both of you guys want to ask you about NFL dreams. You guys thought about, what do you think?
Growing up, you watch the NFL, you watch the NBA, stuff like that, and you think I remember writing, well, what do you want to be when you grow up? Oh, a professional athlete. Yeah. And I think that's always a dream. With 1 year of eligibility left, this is the closest we'll ever be to that dream. So might as well go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah, similar. I'd love to keep playing football for as long as I can on any level at that point. It's certainly one of those things where, you can only play football for a certain amount of time in your life. I mentioned it the other day. In 20 years from now, I can't sort of say, I might try to play some football again.
Yeah.
It's just you can't do it.
Yeah.
You can't. You're
time.
not trying at that point. It's either you do it now or you don't do it at all.
This is the time. All right, so you're a Milwaukee guy, the Brewers and Twins. As we tape this right now, it's Wednesday. They're actually probably playing. I could check the score.
The Brewers won yesterday 3-2.
They did win yesterday 3-2. Let me look here just for the fun of it.
Some pretty good world championships.
0-0, bottom of the first. So it just started. But the Brewers weren't supposed to be very good this year, right? They traded everybody away.
Yeah.
And they're 4-0 as we talk.
Yeah,
Are they going to be good?
I hope so. I'm going to be honest. I don't really want. I'm keeping up with the Bucks right now.
Nice game against the Nets last night. No,
the Wizards. They lost to the Wizards.
Wizards are no good.
The Wizards won 14 games this year.
Did the Greek Freak not play?
He had a triple-double.
So how did they lose?
Damian Lillard didn't.
Well, I was going to say they didn't score as many points as the Wizards.
So Lillard didn't play?
Lillard didn't
Is he
play.
injured?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
But hopefully he's good for the playoffs. But the Brewers, because it was opening night yesterday.
Yeah.
So a bunch of my buddies back at home went to opening night, and it was raining. But luckily, Milwaukee, unlike Minnesota, we have a roof over our baseball field.
Yeah.
So they were able to play and win 3-2.
Yeah.
And the Twins were up 2-0 too.
The issue that I have with I'm not going to say that I'm a diehard Twins guy, but I love it when Dragan fires up and he gets stuck into the Twins and he gets stuck into the Timberwolves. The Brewers are still chasing that world championship pennant.
No, we have it as the Milwaukee Braves. We have a championship as the Milwaukee Braves.
Do you guys hang it up?
Yes.
You know?
I don't know.
Yes.
We probably know there's no championship.
Milwaukee Braves. Yeah, probably not.
I was like
Probably
1960.
By the way, just to correct, the Brewers were up 3-0 yesterday.
What? I thought they were down 2-0.
No, not yesterday.
Kay Kazemius, he's a wide receiver on team.
Yeah.
Him and I go back and forth. He's a Twins fan, I'm a Brewers fan. Yeah.
No. The Brewers are up 3-0 after 3.
He told me it was 2-0.
It's a great spectacle watching
Those guys
Dragan just have discussion with anyone regarding something that he's passionate about.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, I won't even ask about the Packers then.
Yeah. Super Bowl. Super Bowl.
Well, it's nice to have Aaron Jones here in the Twin Cities.
It's nice to have Greg Joseph in Lambeau.
Crazy.
No, but I saw Aaron Jones go to the Vikings, and I was like, dang it, why couldn't we keep him? But
He's a good player.
Yeah, we got Josh Jacobs, so it's like.
I mean, that's probably an upgrade.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's a year younger.
A little younger.
And he's good between the tackles, so it's like.
Yeah. So who's the top cricket team in the world? Or do you watch that? Did you know was it cricket you played?
Yeah,
that's what I thought.
Cricket. Yeah, it's a lot.
Like, are you logging onto your laptop and watching cricket matches
All the time.
Come on.
Let's watch.
No, you aren't.
Yeah,
are you really?
No, yeah.
He's like, cricket's going on. I'm like,
it was just before spring ball started, around spring break. Spring break was awesome because obviously no school. I could lift in the morning and do what I had to do in the morning, and then about 4 o'clock. Australia was playing New Zealand in New Zealand. So 4 p.m. the game starts.
This is like the Australian national cricket team?
Yeah, correct. Okay. So they did a tour in New Zealand, so I would tune in at like 3, 4 o'clock, watch that until 10 o'clock, and then I'd flick it over and it'd be India versus England until I fell asleep. And it was just...
He loves it.
It was incredible.
He loves it.
And you were, what position is there, or do you rotate? I don't know enough about
in cricket?
Yeah, when you... Because you played like minor league cricket, right, or something?
I mean, there was times where it got pretty serious, without a doubt.
That's what I mean.
So that was always it was competitive. Let's put it that way. I mean, guys are fighting for spots and things like that. But I would say I was more of an all rounder in that sense. I would sort of be middle of the order with the bat to middle low order, and then I'd be a bowler as well. Which it's hard to really equate that in terms. It's just like a pitcher that can hit the ball as well. I mean,
do they call them pitchers in cricket?
Bowlers.
Bowlers? Bowlers, like bowling.
Correct.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And then they do that weird straight overhand windmill. Right? Yeah. And so you're good at that.
Can't bend at the elbow. Yeah. I enjoy it. Yeah.
I think we should run a fake field goal. And Crawford just takes a snap, then gets up, and as he's rolling right, he'll have a guy, but he has to throw it like a cricket ball.
Yeah, I bowl it.
Straight overhand to the tight end.
We're locked in with that.
Yeah.
Him and I are, like, when it comes to sports like that, just super competitive. Like, we bought a dartboard.
Yep.
And then bowling.
Yep.
Like, actual bowling at a
Like
bowling
real-
alley.
yeah, you guys-
I love that. I love bowling.
You guys pretty good at bowling?
He's Dragan through 244 the other day?
Did you really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Come on.
I have one open frame and it gets me angry.
Yeah.
Man, 244.
Yeah.
What's your career high?
172.
Yeah, probably about that. Yeah.
Well, that's pretty good.
I'm not. I mean, Dragan's got his own bowling ball. He takes it very seriously.
You have your own?
Own bowling ball, own shoes, own bag, everything.
You're like the old man just walking into the bowling alley.
Like I got it fitted. I got like these rubber pads so my fingers don't get scratched up.
How often do you bowl?
I mean, it was a lot more, but probably I try and go every Saturday after practice.
So if you like this summer, it'll be. I mean, you guys are still working, but there's not practice every other day.
Correct.
So if you get into a swing of it, how often will you bowl?
2 or 3 times a week.
Wow.
The problem is I don't have a car, so it's hard.
What do you got? An Uber there? Or?
No, sometimes I'll take Crawford's car.
Yeah, so you just borrow that. You guys do the scooter thing now too?
Moped? No, I don't drive. But Derek Captain has a moped that I'll drive sometime.
Yeah, gotcha.
So it's.
Well, you need an NIL deal. Somebody's got to get you a scooter.
Yeah, or a car.
Yeah, let's do that. We got to get
F-150.
Somebody got to get Dragan to be able to go bowling this summer.
Exactly.
Get him a car.
How am I supposed to get a 300?
Or at least some bowling alley out there give him free games.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's awesome.
That'd be awesome.
That would be sweet. Free games. And all you got to do is, TikTok or tweet or whatever.
I'll happily make an Instagram post for some free games. I'll give them shout outs on podcasts.
Yeah. Free shoes.
Yeah.
No, you have your own shoes. You don't need to rent the shoes.
Yeah, I'll the publicity. Holy stutter. Publicity will be fine. I'll get it out there.
Yeah, you'll get it out there.
Get business booming.
All right. Well, on that note, we need a car and free games of bowling for Dragan.
That's not too much to ask for.
You guys both part of Dinkytown too, athletes?
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
And we have merchandise, right?
Yeah, we have Serbian Hammer merch.
Serbian Hammer merch still available.
Still available in my Instagram bio, Twitter bio.
Okay, gotcha. Yep. Very good. Nothing for you yet?
International student.
Oh, that's right. You can't do that stuff.
There's a few different rules and laws.
There's some sort of weird tax law or something, right?
I think the theory is that, can get things out of Australia. So anything back home is eligible. But if you got
free bowling back there, that'd be a costly trip to go get a couple of frames.
Yeah. I better be
$2,000.
Yeah, I better be getting higher than a 244. That's for sure.
All right. Well, we got Serbian Hammer shirts out there. We can do that. All right. Well, guys, it was so much fun. Let's do it again.
Please
enjoy you guys going to the NBA game tonight. So enjoy that.
Yeah,
awesome.
I will.
Outstanding. There they are. Dragan Kesich, Mark Crawford, episode 115.
My thanks to Golden Gopher football players Dragan Kesich and Mark Crawford for being my guest on this week's Go Gopher podcast. I hope you enjoyed listening to that conversation as much as I enjoyed being a part of it. Episode 115 is presented by Sunbelt Business Advisors and True North Mergers and Acquisitions. If you're buying or selling a business, visit sunbeltminnesota.com or tnma.com today. We're also partnered with Affinity Plus Federal Credit Union, a locally member-owned full-service financial invested in you. You can learn more at affinityplus.org/Go Gophers. That's affinityplus.org/Go Gophers. Again, I'd invite you to listen to past podcasts, and please be sure to subscribe to the Go Gopher podcast right now. It's free to subscribe and free to listen at any time. And please share the link to the podcast with others so they can subscribe and listen as well. We'll talk again next week.